I mean, it's so shocking. Every day it feels like it's gotten worse and worse. We now know they were connected to other hit and runs, that they were in stolen cars, long rap sheet. One of the boys said, "Oh, I'm only going to get 30 days after, he killed a man." I mean, what has gone wrong in these young men's lives, like to lead to this?
Well, if that was actually true, we want to learn more about that. In my work with juvenile people in the justice system, we know that the most common diagnosis is trauma. And one of the symptoms of trauma is risk taking behaviors, rage, and violence. It's not what we think that the movies look like, a kid crying in a corner. Children who are hurt others, hurt people. And I'm not saying that that's an excuse, but when we think about trauma informed systems and the fact that children are going through systems and not getting rehabilitated, we want to think about the system itself. We want to learn about what was done for them. Were the parents worked with? Did they develop
Yeah.
skills? Were other issues addressed? Was there substance abuse involved? So it's not as easy as it seems. It's not like, oh, this bad kid who has no remorse. These are complicated cases. Now, the piece about filming things, we know this is the day of social media. We know that a lot of times regular kids don't think things out, not just kids who were abused and mistreated throughout their lives. Most kids don't really think things out. So if you have a recipe of a traumatized child, a neglected child, a child that didn't get, let's say, the most comprehensive treatment, plus reckless behavior, plus impulsivity, things like this may happen. In the case of two people working together, we don't know what was happening. We don't know if one was the leader and one was the follower. We don't know if there were threats involved. And again, we don't know if substance abuse was involved. So there's a lot of unknowns. We can't be absolute about everything. We can't be judge and juror.
Yeah.
But it really speaks to the fact that we need to address trauma from a trauma-informed perspective. We need to figure out ways to treat this from a systemic level.
Yeah, I get it, and I hear what you're saying, and I obviously feel bad hearing about what the one young man went through, with his mom obviously being abusive and arrested on those abuse charges, and I can't imagine what it would be like growing up in that kind of a situation. But it's not like acting out, beating someone up in school or getting in a fight. I mean, like to run someone over and it was on video, and then to laugh about it. I mean, it's hard to try to justify that even based on their past. I mean, am I wrong to think like that?
Well, when you've worked in the court systems and you read these cases and you see and you've done these evaluations, you know that there's more to a story. We don't know what they were thinking when they were running people over. We don't know if they thought, oh, this is funny, he got hit, he fell over. We don't know if they were like, oh my gosh, I killed a guy, right? We don't know in that moment. And that's why the video is so important, because we want to hear the dialogue. We want to see what actually happened. We want to know how much they believe that someone was actually hurt. How many times do we see people falling and they don't get hurt? So we don't know the full story. It'd be interesting to see how serious they believed in that moment this was. It could be possible that they had no idea the person passed away. So yeah, I think we do need to have more information before we go ahead and make these statements.
Yeah, I hear you, but again, it is on video, and you see the guy get hit, and it's hard to imagine they wouldn't have known that they really hurt someone, even if they didn't know that they killed him. Caitlin, you heard Dr. Joseph talking about the video, social media. Do we know at all, like if the motive at all was to get clicks? Was it trying to make a video go viral? Is that why it was posted, or was it just shared among friends?
It doesn't seem to be the case. It doesn't seem to be something that was posted publicly. It looked like something that was shared kind of, as you said, sort of among friends. I think that even a teenager who possibly doesn't know the consequences of their own actions knows enough not to put something like this on social media where they can be identified,
Yeah.
particularly after the one driver was arrested. Even if they wanted to put it online, I think the other suspect was probably smart enough to, in that moment, know not only should I not put it online, but as we heard from your reporter earlier, from your affiliate, he allegedly told those people to delete the video. And we hear in this video right here, they say, what's the address? we got to get out of here. It's very clear in that moment. They knew they had done something seriously wrong. So maybe they didn't know that they had really harmed the 72-year-old earlier, or maybe they didn't know that the person in the car was harmed, because by all accounts, they really weren't, according to law enforcement. But when you see the effect of that crash, when you see that man's body go into the glass of the front windshield and then roll on the back, it's obvious that something was terribly wrong. And I don't know for a fact if these two had active driver's licenses, but I do know that if you get a driver's license, you have to understand the rules of the road, and you know that if you hit a human being with your car, they could likely die.
Yeah.
I mean, this is basic stuff. And I think, to the doctor's point earlier, I understand and I am compassionate to all of these things, but I'm sure you would probably agree with me that this systemic problem needs to be stopped when that poor child was left at 8 years old, when he was taken into the system at 8 years old. That's when we need to get involved, so that by the time they are 16, 17, not that 16 and 17-year-olds don't also need mental health counseling and care, but I think the crux of the issue is when these children are vulnerable, we step in then and provide them with the resources.
Yeah.
And I really don't think that most states are equipped for that. And that, I think, is where the change needs to happen.
Yeah, this is obviously a microcosm to a much bigger issue with society. But yeah, I just feel for the victim's family. I mean, he was a dad, had a big family, had a lot of friends, and I just think of them tonight. And they have to see that video and know how he died. It's awful.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.